Explorers. This is your lead scientist, Miss Shirley. Today's lesson is on how do flowers grow. By the end of this lesson, you'll understand how to identify parts of a flower plant, the steps of the life cycle of a flower plant, and how butterflies interact with plants by drinking nectar to spread the flower's plant pollen. In our last class, we explored the Edpuzzle video pollination flow quiz, and we learned ways in which plants depend on animals and how animals pollinate plants and distribute seeds. Let's introduce some words we need to learn for this lesson. Sepal. The sepal is a support structure for the petal. It is typically green and helps to protect and hold up the petal. And this is the sepal. Okay? Petal. The petals are the bright, colorful leaves of the flower. The petals are bright and colorful to attract insects that help with pollination. And then this is the petal. Stamen. The stamen is part of the plant that produces pollen. There are two main parts of the stamen, the filament and the anther. And so this is the stamen. This is cut off the word stamen, but here's the filament and the anther. Filament is the stalk that holds the anther, and this is the filament. It's the stalk that holds the anther. Now the anther is made up of lobes that attach to the filament. These lobes hold sacs which contain pollen, and so this is the anther. Pistil. The pistil is the female part of the flower. It contains the carpel and the stigma. Okay, and this is the pistil. It's been cut off, but this whole entire thing where it includes the stigma, the style, and the ovary is the pistil. Stigma. The stigma is the area where pollen is received. The stigma may be located at the end of the stalk called the style. And so right here, this is the style. At the end of the stalk is the stigma. And carpel. The carpel is the ovary of the flower and contains ovules, which are seeds. And so this is the seeds over here, the ovules, and this is the ovary, which is the carpel. Okay? Okay, science explorers, we're going to explore and investigate some lessons on how flowers grow, and we are going to answer some questions. Today we'll watch this video and think about how does flowers grow.
A seed holds the beginning of a new plant. Roots grow from the seed, feeding on nutrients and water from the soil. As the roots dig down into the soil, the plant begins to emerge. Through photosynthesis, the plant uses sunlight to grow. As the plant grows, a flower begins to bloom. The flower's colorful petals and sweet smell attracts butterflies. Butterflies play a crucial role in the reproduction cycle of many flowers. Butterflies like to perch on flowers as they search for nectar to drink. Pollen grains from the flower get all over its legs and body. When the butterfly flies away, it takes some pollen with it to a new flower. Some of the pollen falls off of the butterfly onto the new flower. Pollen grains that land on top of the flower stigma can begin to germinate. A tube grows from the pollen grain down toward the flower's ovary. Cells from the pollen travel down the tube to fertilize the ovules. Once fertilized, the ovules grow into new seeds. After the ovules are fertilized, the petals begin to wither and eventually fall off. Only the ovary remains healthy and attached to the stem. As the ovules grow into seeds, the ovary begins to expand and becomes the flower's fruit. The flower's fruit is a tough, dry capsule that eventually tears open to release the new seeds. Under the right conditions, these seeds will grow into new flowers. The life cycle starts over once again.
Okay, science explorers. So let's revisit the flowering plant's specific life cycle. So step 1, the seed. They begin their lives as seeds. Seeds are like baby plants. They have a hard outer shell that protect the seed's embryo inside. Step 2 of the life cycle of a flowering plant, germination. The seed ends up on the ground. It needs air, water, and soil to grow. When a seed begins to grow, this is called germination, and the first growth usually be some small root, then the stems will grow. Next, step 3, the sprout or seedling. When the first sign of life appears above the soil, this is called the sprout or seedling. Step 4 of a life cycle of a flowering plant is the mature plant. The seedling will continue to grow into a full mature plant with leaves, roots, and stems. And finally, step 5, flowering. The mature plant will grow flowers. Through pollination, the flowers will produce seeds. When the seeds end up on the ground, the cycle will begin again. Now, science explorers, what you need to do is you're going to write the steps of the life cycle of a flowering plant in order. So students, think, think, think. Write your response. Okay, science explorers, we also want to know, how do butterflies interact with plants? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. And to summarize, science explorers, tell us, how do butterflies help plants? Think, 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 science explorers. Write your response. And finally, what do you think of today's lessons? Okay, science explorers, today we learned how flowers grow. Until next time, ciao for now.